Here's a tell in the cinematography that helps interpret the enigmatic ending to the 2023 film Evil Does Not Exist. While there aren't direct spoilers, I'll be showing scenes from the very end of the film. An early scene appears innocuous but contains a critical clue. When some characters depart a house at night, the headlights of their cars show this starburst pattern. This is a diffraction spike, a lens artifact from diffraction around the straight edges of a lens's iris diaphragm when the aperture is small. Compare these product shots from a Japanese retailer 5-star camera. When the aperture is closed, it has a distinctly polygonal shape. When it's fully opened, it's round. Actually, these images show the specific model of vintage Nikkor lens that was used to shoot much of the film. In a promotional interview for Blackmagic, cinematographer Yoshio Kitagawa mentions the specific old Nikon lens, the GN Auto Nikkor 45mm f2.8. The points on the starburst correspond directly to the number of blades. The artifact projects through its center. So with an odd number of blades, each point has no directly opposite point to overlap and you see double the number of points as blades. The Nikkor has 7 blades, and we count 14 points in the starburst. This is the most tangible way a lens leaves an imprint on its image. To me, showing the starburst so distinctly is a clue from the cinematographer to the viewer that heightens awareness of the aperture being small in that scene, and furthermore that the choice of aperture more broadly matters to the film. Another way aperture affects image is through light. An open aperture physically lets in more light, making it easy to capture fine detail when the scene is dark. In this scene with the starburst, we know the aperture is closed down, and correspondingly we see large indistinct patches of black in the composition. In the very next shot we see, well, nothing. Only when a car passes by is Takumi sitting at a piano slowly illuminated. It's a testament to the excellent cinematography by Kitagawa and color grading by Ryota Kobayashi to manage the challenges of low light with a closed aperture. You could do an analysis of this film focused on light and dark, which are combined for dramatic effect, but I won't get into it. What I want to discuss instead is depth of field. Aperture affects not just what artifacts you get and how much light you collect, but crucially how much of the image can be in focus. Wide apertures are popular for photography because the narrow depth of field blurs what is not in focus, providing very fluent subject-background isolation. Narrow apertures, on the other hand, allow for deep depth of field, placing everything in focus at once. Many shots in the movie utilize this. From very early on, we see Takumi in a scene by his house with depth. The clarity with which we see him and his surroundings allows us to absorb and integrate ourselves with the setting. A slow panning shot sees him move from a few meters away until he's just a small figure in the frame, but still rendered in enough detail that we can read his facial expressions, a small part of the full breadth of the human and natural world around him. The next scene where he gathers water with Kazuo elaborates. Trees in the foreground and background are both rendered in minute lifelike detail. In this shot, Takumi and Kazuo are in very different planes. Usually, films will not show characters speaking to each other in different planes, as the blurring creates a separation between them, such as the scene later on inside an udon shop. However, because of this deep depth of field, they are both crystal clear and can communicate with each other. By analogy to this, the same effect in the nature scenes reflects the film's message of nature being in continuous interaction with and not distinct from human activities. The forest does not become blurred, indistinct, on a different background plane, but is in constant conversation and a participant in the film. Viewers will pick this up intuitively. The metaphor of something being in focus or out of focus relative to its importance is obvious, but the revelation of the starburst suggests special importance to the choice of aperture. Let's apply that to the ending. We'll examine not just individual shots, but the sequence of shots starting from the departure from the house. We see the starburst in the headlights. That's our cue to pay attention to what's happening to the aperture. Then we have a bridge scene, Takumi reminisces. Then we have very clear bracketing from the filmmaker to indicate a dream sequence. We see Takumi's daughter Hana sleeping. We see scenes from earlier that day, but then they're abruptly interrupted by Takumi tucking Hana in. So what happens in between is definitely a dream. What happened? We see a shot of the feather she collected that day with a wide open aperture, as the background is extremely indistinct. The scene with the feather when it appeared during the waking world was captured with a slightly shallow depth of field, but not to the same extent as the dream sequence. We also get this extremely important shot of Hana, again isolated from her background, floating in her own world. Now the ending. It's the same pattern. Hana has gone missing and the villagers search for her. The sun sets through the trees, producing a clear starburst. This brief shot in particular combines all three effects of small aperture. We see the starburst effect and the depth of the forest rendered by deep depth of field, while the detail of the texture on the trees becomes indistinct from the fading light. Through a narrow aperture and the change in lighting, the vibrant and peaceful forest becomes menacing. We see people searching through the woods with flashlights, producing more starbursts in a gorgeous scene reminiscent of a twinkling starlit sky settled among the trees. Remember, these are all cues to pay attention to aperture effects. The starburst is very prominent when it appears, but it only appears in these two sequences near the beginning and the end. A bridge scene with Takumi. Hana is spotted, and then this shot with a wide open aperture. Hana before one of the most blurred, indistinct backgrounds in the whole film, and one obscuring not just nature, but people whose presence is supposedly central to the scene. In the visual language established earlier in the film, this is clearly part of a dream or dreamlike state. Another shot shortly afterwards confirms we are in a continuation of that state. We see the moon through the trees, but it's hazy, and there's no starburst. It's not hard to tell that the mystifying ending is not one-to-one with reality, but knowing and analyzing the cinematography reveals a compelling visual narrative, while also supplying the language to describe how the effect of irreality is established and helps tease out where in the film it begins and ends. Through relating cinematography in two sequences from the beginning and end, we see the delineation between dreams and reality is not suddenly broken, but has been unsteady throughout the film.